Conference championships are here. 3 games left in the NFL season. Only 3 more NFL games to wager on until next September. I hope you're ready, but we're going to give you some acorns to store away for that long, long winter. It's Short King summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King summer. All right, Reeves, man. This is just about it. We are about to the curtain. I mean, we'll probably do a little something for the Super Bowl. We'll figure something out for that. But 2 more games left before it's all down to one. Biggest games of the season. Commies, Eagles, Chiefs, Bills. I kind of wish for my sanity that Bills Chiefs was first. I'm just gonna be keyed up.
Nah, man, they were definitely locking that in.
That's true.
That was definitely going to be the way things were going to end.
Kevin, all you have to do to get added to the Discord is link your YouTube account, as long as you remember, with Discord, and it'll add you automatically. What were kind of some of your big takeaways from the divisional round? Did any of those games really surprise you? I mean, I
do definitely think the outcome of Lions Commanders was definitely surprising for me.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think the Commanders were going to score points or move the football, given what we've seen from the Lions defense the final 6 weeks of the season. But the 5 turnovers were the big thing, right? Like just how sloppy the Lions were with the football, when really outside of the Texans Sunday night game, we hadn't seen them really be turnover prone. And that was the difference in the game, because the Commanders have allowed the most yards per play in both rounds of the playoffs. But they have 1 sack taken and 0 turnovers, and they have 28 points off turnovers, 6 turnovers. They have 9 sacks in the playoffs. Like, that's the big difference for them, because the defense has been getting shredded still. They've just gotten timely takeaways and big plays, and they haven't made any mistakes on offense themselves.
No mistakes on offense. Jared Goff, I mean, we got a little bit of goof. We got a little bit of the acknowledgement of why the Rams were comfortable.
I mean, he threw that awful pick and then got pancaked, and like he thought he was going to leave the game. It was like insult to injury.
He did leave the game. They got a touchdown on the drive that he was not in the game, which honestly, if you were looking at it, that is like running way above expectation. How often do we have these quarterbacks leave for a drive because they have to go to the tent, they have to get their ankle taped, whatever, and that drive is just like a punt, and then getting a 61-yard touchdown from Jameson Williams on that drive, like, that's an edge. That actually went in their favor. I don't know. I was telling Liam this. I still feel like if they play that game 100 times, the Lions still win like 65 of the 100 or something. The defense was decimated, but the offense, and they were still kind of in it, honestly, until the Jameson Williams interception. They really were. They really were still in it until that play.
But it was huge for the Commanders to kind of put the Lions in like a catch-up mode with the pick 6 that they got for the first half, because it took the running game out of the equation, because they were getting absolutely shredded on the ground. And guess where they're going to face this week? They're dead last in yards allowed before contact per carry, and they're facing the running back who leads the NFL in yards before contact, that just set the record for most 50-yard touchdown runs in a season in the 2000s, the most rushing touchdowns from outside the red zone in a season. And there are some things in play here, but we've already seen the Commanders also beat the Eagles. It was a version without Jalen Hurts, like Jalen Hurts leaving the game. They needed like a furious 4th quarter comeback, but it's easier to talk yourself into they're definitely live here because they've already beaten them. So it's not a situation like last week where it'd be like an outright surprise, at least to me. But I did want to see Lions Eagles though. I hate to see like so many rematches in the playoffs, and this has been a playoffs filled with rematches. So I did want to see Lions Eagles play, but the Commanders are a great story, man. They tread in a good direction, and James Daniels is a baller.
You got any big takeaways on Lamar, the Ravens, Monken?
Same shit, man. It always happens. It's just like you trying a new way. It's hard to win in the NFL playoffs, man. It is. It's hard. And I know people take it for granted because we had the Brady dynasty immediately followed up by this Andy Reid Mahomes run. but like it's hard to win in the playoffs. And you look at guys like Dan Marino, John Elway, right? Like John, and John Elway got over late, but it was the story of his career. Up that Peyton Manning, it was the story of Peyton Manning's career. He couldn't get through Brady. He couldn't get through Brady.
Isn't that so funny?
But it's a one and done format. Like that's what makes it fun. That's what adds it. That's why the NCAA tournament is so fun too, right? Like it's a one and done thing versus all these other sports that have series played. And you just never know, man. Like a situation like the Lions, like you said, I believe if the Lions Commanders play 100 times, it's probably like 70-30 Lions, but that one is all that matters.
No, honestly, that is so true. And that's why, I mean, last week we reached like the height of people being angry at the Chiefs because they got the first roughing the passer call, which was certainly a roughing the passer, and then the second one that people really got mad at. But people just hate that. They just hate the Chiefs now because
it's a bummer because we talked a little bit last week. Like the Chiefs didn't really have any villains. Like Andy Reid's not a villain. Travis Kelce's not a villain. Mahomes isn't a villain. But then when you do stuff like Mahomes did last week, like the flop, like that's how you earn. Like that's like how people start to like pull away and be like, don't be doing that shit, man.
Well, except obviously it's not universally applied because every quarterback does that. Josh does it. Lamar actually doesn't do it, probably to his, like if I was a Ravens fan, I would be like, Lamar, you should be selling contact on all these plays. You should be trying to get defenders.
LeBron is still doing it.
LeBron is 40 and he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
I've never seen LeBron. How many times have you seen LeBron check to see if his nose is bleeding over his career? And it's never been bleeding, LeBron. Your nose has never been bleeding.
That, you know what? That is honestly, that is such a great point. He
does this all the time. Like, it's never been bleeding, LeBron.
Never, not once, never in a million years has it ever actually been bleeding. That is so funny.
But he always does. It's like his thing.
I mean, did you have any thoughts about, like, maybe the Eagles just can't generate an explosive passing offense, or it's just totally unnecessary? Like I went into the playoffs basically being like, I don't think any of the NFC teams can even touch the Eagles. I thought the Eagles were pretty far and away the best team. But watching Hurts last week after he hurt his knee, like his knee's not going to be 100% in this game, right? I mean, the Rams could have won that game, man. Rams could have very, very, like, Kyron Williams doesn't fumble, and all of a sudden it's a very different game.
But also, the Eagles played 2 games where their quarterback played like shit, and not at any point did you really think they were going to lose.
Oh, no one. The Chiefs. Look, guys, I'm sorry. Everyone's so angry about this. The Chiefs were never losing to the Texans. I really apologize to you guys, but it just wasn't happening. All right, let's get into it.
Let's talk about that matchup. Let's talk about Hurts and the knee injury and the impact it could have. I would love to see, because we talked about last week with the Buffalo Bills going against Lamar Jackson and how it came down to Sean McDermott, adjusting what they did in the first matchup and calibrating, the approach, how they were going to play him. And they did that. They played a lot more aggressive defense against Lamar Jackson. I would love to see Dan Quinn actually drop back and play more coverage in this game like he did against Jared Goff last week. And I know there's some temptation probably if Hurts is hurt, no pun intended, and they want them wanting to kind of jam the box and devote bodies to stopping Saquon Barkley. I believe Saquon's going to probably get his regardless. I think they need to worry about not letting the passing game get going for the Eagles and just hanging around, and then you have a shot to win this game. So if Hurts can't really run around, the thing that Hurts has had a real big issue with is pressure that is self-induced. And it was a big problem against the Rams. He had the highest sack rate per dropback in a game, in an NFL game this season last week. And 3 of the sacks were his fault. The safety was his fault. He had 2 clear, safety valves. He had Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley if he wanted to take those. He is 8th in the NFL in pressures that are self-induced in this season. And that's a big deal this season because when you look at him, when he hasn't been pressured this year, he actually leads the NFL in completion rate from a clean pocket, and he's 4th in yards per pass attempt. When he's pressured, he goes to 24th, under 45% completion rate, only 5 yards per pass attempt when pressured this season, which is 30th in the NFL. When they played Washington in a very brief sample, because he left the second game, only played the one full game, he's only 2 of 8 under pressure, 3.4 yards or pass attempt. When Washington didn't pressure him, 8.5 yards or pass attempt, 17 of 24 passing. And it's a huge deal for Washington in this game because their defense has been terrible in the quick game and the quick game pass defense. On throws within 2.5 seconds of the snap, Washington's 25th in yards or pass attempt allowed. They've allowed the highest touchdown rate in the NFL. And that was true on Saturday as well. Jared Goff on those throws didn't throw any of his interceptions. He averaged 8.4 yards per pass attempt with 17 of 22 passing. But when Washington forced him to hold the ball longer, he threw 4 interceptions. He only completed 57% of his passes. When Washington has done that over the course of the season, they actually go to 9th in yards per pass attempt allowed, and they have the league's lowest touchdown rate allowed. So I think they want Hurts holding the football in this game because Hurts will invite some of his own pressures for holding the football, and it ties into kind of like where they played better defense. I don't want to see them just say we have to stop Saquon Barkley at all costs, because I think he's going to get his regardless. Like, this run game's too good. You can't let the guys like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you can't let Hurts have a game like we had against Pittsburgh. That Pittsburgh game still looms with the Eagles. Like, they still have that gear, and Hurts has done it over his career. Like, we can't even take this small sample and say like we haven't seen him pass well. We absolutely have. He was the best player in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So I think Dan Quinn should play coverage in this game. He should resist the temptation to be aggressive on trying to stop Saquon Barkley and force Jalen Hurts to hold the football.
It's hard for me to say, because I think you're certainly right. There's not a game plan that stops Barkley. You know, like he's going to get his 142 yards and probably like one long touchdown.
He's going to pop one eventually.
He is going to pop one eventually. And I think you can almost just kind of build that in to your expectation of the game plan against them. The question you have to ask yourself on top of that is, are you okay allowing that happen when that can translate into 11-minute drives because of the unique way that the Eagles play? I guess the big variable here, and we saw this play out against the Rams, they had that goal line possession where they were on the 3-yard line. They tried a couple runs with Barkley. They lined up to do the tush-push. Finally, on 4th down, Lane Johnson, very, very slight false start. But they didn't do it. Basically, they did not do a tush-push after he injured his knee. For the Eagles, that is the most important part of their playbook. That extends drives. It gets them every first down. I mean, it's so funny. We've seen other teams try and do it, and it's not been effective. You know, other teams have tried it and not. The Bills are pretty good at it.
The Bills, because of those two quarterbacks. They're horses,
yeah.
Dude. They're horses. Like Josh Allen had a play in the Ravens game where it's like, this dude is like a moose manifested into a human form. Like, how are you supposed to tackle this dude? And Hurts is the same way. He squats like 600 pounds. He's just a big dude. It's like Cam Newton factor, right? Like, Cam Newton would have been great at the tush push because how big he is. But like, you can't, like, Jaden Daniels isn't like a dude you want to tush push with because he's not. He's slender.
And that's why the Ravens use Mark Andrews on the tush push, right? God,
yeah, exactly.
Boy, do I hope that my guy Andy Reid was watching that game and being like, "Wait, this is legal?"
They've done it with Noah Gray before.
I went to go look at like because I remembered it. He hasn't done it since 2020. They just like for whatever reason. No, Noah Gray.
Really?
Noah Gray hasn't done. Yeah. I went to look up like his like rushing stats or whatever, and he has not generated a quarterback sneak. Here we go. Oh, he must have done it. He must have done it once last year. He did it one time in 2022 and one time last year.
Well, they're not doing it with Mahomes. We know that.
They're not doing it with Mahomes. How much? I mean, that has cost them so much win expectancy over the years. I mean, it really is unbelievable.
And that was the one thing that, because you remember with the Patriots dynasty, like Brady was like the lord of the sneak. Like
Phillip Rivers was really good at it. Phillip Rivers was always but I mean, it's a free first down. You know, yeah, Kelsey's done it. Kelsey did it once this year. Man, I think the issue, I'm gonna guess the reason why the tight ends do it is some of them have played quarterback at some point in their lives. You know, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Noah Gray
taking a snap.
Yes, like taking a snap. Because, by the way, the Commanders almost had like an all-time kerfuffle with that Marcus Mariota goes
Mariota
under
one.
center and like.
Well, he was supposed to pitch it.
Well, imagine he does pitch it while a lineman is around his legs. It bounces off of Daniel's hands. Like all of a sudden, that game is so different. I mean, it is so funny because like we've sent Lamar to jail. Oh, Lamar.
Well,
Lamar
credit the
can't win.
Commanders at least knowing these two games being dogs. Like they've gone for 9 fourth downs these two games, and they're the best team in the NFL on fourth downs this year. I know the Lions are like the team that gets the credit in our mind, but the Commanders are 26 of 32 on fourth downs this season. They have by far the most EPA added on fourth down in the NFL, like almost double of the Lions. Like, and they've understood the assignment these playoffs of saying like, no, we're trying to win these games as underdogs.
You know what? That actually is a really good point because most underdogs just don't change their strategy at all. They just play it like a normal game. And the Commanders have not. The Commanders have, and they've gone for it on their own side of the field a couple times. Dan Quinn,
they could have kicked a number of field goals in Detroit and just taken the points. And they're trying to score touchdowns because they knew that their defense was going to give up a bunch of yards. Like by now you've seen the stat, right? Like the Jaden Daniels, like rookies in the championship game, and then like their defenses they've been attached to, right? Like you've seen it. They're cognizant of this. Like they know what's going on.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like what would be a comparable defense to what the Commanders have done who've won the NFC Conference Championship. I can't, or either conference. I can't really think of a defense that was bottom half of the league in yards per play, but like opportunistic or whatever. I don't know.
I'd have to think about it. There's a few that probably
really
exist,
think.
but I'd have to like get into. Obviously, we run this run where like we've had like the 49ers recently, and like they've had great defenses, but yeah. Even in the AFC, I mean, you probably have to go to not even probably those Chiefs teams that had bad defenses, but
well, Benny, here's the thing about Andy Reid. They're still really good on third and fourth downs, but they do it in a way that is so tortured and creates a larger margin of error. Like they throw the ball a lot on fourth down. Most teams on how many other teams on 4th and 1 call a drop back? You do not see it all that often. And by the way,
you see like outside of the Lions that go for it a lot are the teams that have these quarterbacks that can be used. You know, that's the thing, and they don't want to use Mahomes that way since the knee injury.
God, it is.
Which is so wild that he was going to try to come back to that game.
And that's the type of guy he is. He's a warrior. I mean,
it's a bummer though. I don't want to see Mahomes become a villain though, man. It's wild because
it's too late, man.
I know it
late.
is. It's over. I guess, yeah, but because he's such a really cool player. Like he does shit that's so cool and he plays a position in such a unique way.
Yeah, although
he's so good. I mean, he's the best player too. Like it sucks. I don't want to. Like it's hard for him because like Jordan was easy, I think, to be like to have to toe that line because he was like such an asshole. Like it was easy, like
exactly. But Mahomes is not out here like, trash. I mean, he'll do a little bit of trash talk, but like he's had like nothing but like kind things to say about like Josh Allen and stuff. Like Michael Jordan would have been like, this motherfucker's such a loser. He never beats me. He only beats me when the stakes are low. And Mahomes is like, no, I love that guy. He's really good. Okay. So the number is 6.5. Looks like you can get 6. You can get 6 most places. You can get 6 at DraftKings. You can get 6.5 at a better price on FanDuel. This is what I struggle with the Commanders. And I've been saying this for the most recent 2 playoff games, so maybe this is just my analysis has been invalidated. But it just feels like they don't really have the horses. There's just it's the NBA team that reaches the conference finals way too early along their developmental curve, and they're totally shell-shocked and odd when they get there. Like if you just go beat for beat, you look at the rosters. I mean, the Eagles have the advantage at every defensive position, all of them. I can't think of one that the Commanders would have close. I mean, maybe Lattimore would start for the Eagles, I guess, particularly now that Quinyon Mitchell. Offensive line, the Eagles have the best offensive line in football, probably. Like, I would assume they're the best. Quarterback, sure, yes. I'm ready to say I think Jaden Daniels is probably better than Jalen. But Jalen is also, I mean, he's basically already got the veteran savvy. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of already has moved to the stage of his career where he's like, you know what I'm here to do? I'm here to win games.
And he's always been like that. But like, I still don't want to get to a place where like we're trying to act like Jalen Hurts is bad at football either.
This has been currently my least favorite thing happening on the internet over the last week is Jalen Hurts stinks. If Washington scores
I think
30 points,
the biggest problem I think that we're going to see now is can the Commanders have efficient offense like they've had the past 2 weeks, because we expected their offense to have efficiency against the Buccaneers and expect them to have efficiency against the version of the Lions that we've seen close the season, outside of the one game versus Sam Darnold, which obviously then carried over to when he played the Rams, right? But the Lions defense in the last Saturday looked like the Lions defense the last 6 weeks of the season outside of the Sam Darnold game. Are they going to be able to do that against the Eagles, right? Like, in these two matchups against the Eagles, I mean, they really haven't generated much offense outside of that fourth quarter in the second matchup, right? When they scored the 22 points in the fourth quarter. One was kind of a broken play. They need to be better quarters 1 through 3 in this game, and it's a little bit harder to say they're going to do that. Like, the Eagles are the only team that are allowing fewer than 5 yards per play. I've also seen some talk about how the Commanders should play a lot of no huddle based on like 5 snaps against prevent defense with Jalen Carter off the field. But here's the catch. Washington ran the most no huddle in the NFL this season. Sizable gap over the next closest team. Guess who the next closest team was? It was the Eagles. The Eagles were second in no huddle snaps. But Washington played 62% no huddle against the Eagles in their 2 matchups. They averaged the same 5 yards per play with and without huddling on those plays. Now, there's a difference between huddling and tempo. And that's what we see Cliff kind of do. They're not huddling, they're not necessarily playing with tempo. But the interesting enough is that the Eagles have arguably the wider splits here, though, with no huddle and getting in the huddle. And we saw this last week against the Rams. They had 19 no huddle snaps last week against the Rams, 9.3 yards per play. They ran 42 plays while huddling, 4.1 yards per play, and that's consistent with their year-to-date production. They're 21st in the NFL in yards per play when huddling, 3rd in the NFL in yards per play going no huddle. Like, this is the team that should be going no huddle, because you know why? It ties into what we talked about with Jalen Hurts. When Jalen Hurts is holding the football, that's when he's at his worst. When you speed him up, and he makes decisions, and you get the ball out of his hands, it's a lot better. It looks a lot better. And when these teams played during the regular season, the Eagles had just under 40 no-huddle plays against the Commanders. They averaged 8.2 yards per play on those snaps, 4.6 yards per play on their huddle snaps. And obviously that includes a sample with Kenny Pickett as well. But I've seen a lot of narrative saying Washington should do this and try to get their defensive line so they can't make substitutions. The Eagles are the team that should play with a little more tempo, even though probably with Hurts' injury and the way Hurts has performed, they're probably going to, just try to do the thing that they've done these first 2 games and just don't make mistakes. We'll let our defense try to win the games, because Hurts has only thrown 1 interception, I think, since week 4. They also haven't turned it over. So that's the other thing too. Like, the Commanders have really benefited on maximizing their opportunities on these turnovers. And are the Eagles even going to give those opportunities?
Probably not. My mental math game script here is basically everyone comes away from this game thinking, wow, Jaden Daniels, there's really something there in a 10-point loss where, Barkley breaks off one of his crazy plays. The Eagles at some point have a 13-play drive where there's 1 called pass the entire time, and it's all Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley runs. Maybe there's there'll be 1 3rd and 8 where everyone's like, this is it. This is it. The commies got him right where they want him. And Dallas Goedert slips out on a screen for 17 yards and just easily gets the first down. That's another thing that people have not really attributed here, which is that Kellen Moore's a very good offensive coordinator. No one, it's an unpopular opinion right now because he was so bad with Los Angeles. And there's a little bit of Eagles fatigue in the sense of people don't really like watching them play. They just don't enjoy. It's just kind of the meta of the NFL now that you kind of just have to be willing to grit and grind and not make mistakes. The Chiefs haven't turned the ball over since week 12. The Eagles are like the ultimate just don't fuck up team because the Eagles,
defensive meta turned into that. It was like,
exactly.
Dude, we want you to have 10, 12 play drives because you're eventually going to mess something up.
Yes, 100%, 100%. And really, at the end of the day, it's the Jims and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. The Eagles have like the best players. That's just I am taking the Eagles -6. You can get that. Like I said, you can get that a lot of places. I mean, you I guess you could really shop for a really good price. You could probably find a -6, -105 or something if you really waited. But even at -110, I'm taking the Eagles -6. They're just better. They're just better. And Sam Cosmi tore his ACL, so they're minus their best interior linemen.
Well, they're not going to run the football in this game anyways. The first two times these teams played, Eagles are Washington running backs average 0.6 yards before contact per carry and 0 yards before contact before carry in the second matchup. Like they weren't going to run the ball regardless in this game. And that's what you have to worry about too with the Commanders is their ceiling has been a lot higher when they're playing complementary football because they do dumb things in terms of not using their best players effectively. And that's where you have to worry about the Terry McLaurin stuff in this game. He'll probably get his one token play like he gets, but like his 2 of his 3 lowest target total games from a target share perspective were in this matchup because Cliff doesn't move him around. He ran 45 routes against the Eagles this season at left wide receiver, only 3 targets on those routes. They only threw at Quinton Mitchell in the 2 games 4 times the total. So hopefully maybe we'll see Cliff do that, but like, how are we banking on that? Right? Like when are we going to see it? Like, did he save it till now that, that he's going to start moving Terry McLaurin around and start getting him targets? Like it's been a problem all year.
Yeah. I don't think so.
He's going to be interesting next year for fantasy, how people handle him because, his touchdown production was so overweighted this year, but then you factor in like year 2 Daniels. Does he get more? Like he's going to be an interesting conversation in fantasy.
So right now here, let's see. I'm in a way too early mock with the guys over at Roto World where we're doing this. No rookies in the pool. Who do you think, or where do you think he was selected in this draft?
I think the top of my head says like he should be around like maybe like mid wide receiver 2 range, but something says he probably went like wide receiver 11 or 12.
Here we go. He's the 3.5. So 1 pick after Garrett Wilson positional, 2 picks after Tyreek positionally, ahead of Mike Evans, ahead of T, ahead of Ladd, ahead of Rashee, ahead of Devontae Adams. Gotta say, I would not be taking him there, probably.
No chance.
Yeah, no chance for me. Chris, you finally got to a desktop. Apparently it's very hard to become a YouTube member on mobile. I'm learning recently, which is a bit of a bummer. Yeah, that seems very early for Mr. McLaurin for me. I'm just wasn't really a Terry guy this year. Probably won't be a Terry guy next year. You hate to see it.
I'm a Terry the talent player for sure, but like people don't realize that this year should have been so much better, and they think he had a great year, and it should have been so much better. He just got real fat on the touchdowns, but like
right.
you had like his usage was actually very discouraging, especially when they traded Jahan Dotson right before the season.
Well, yeah, because that's Cliff's deal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I also do wonder if Jaden Daniels is going to be the archetype of quarterback over the course of his career too, that like isn't just like a one-man band. Like he's not really trying to give a guy 30% target share either. Like he's probably just a guy that is going to be able to spread it around and do some things, but we'll see. That remains to be seen, but it's definitely Cliff's offense more, I think, has to do with Terry McLaurin's actual target share than what we ended up getting.
Right. You got any favorite angles you're taking for this game? Anything?
No, I mean, this one right now, I mean, I feel like right now I like the Eagles a lot. I think Eagles first half is the way I want to play this game, or like early on, because, historically they're just trying to get you to take these 6.5 points. Right. And it's been one of the better, one of the better bets to take one of these larger dogs in this round. Upsets are tough in conference championships, but covers are a lot easier. And they've historically, these teams haven't pulled off upsets if they have covered at a high rate, especially these teams getting this many points. So I think first half Eagles is the way I want to play it.
All right. I'm taking Eagles full game minus. I probably, if I get across the river, which actually I probably will, I will do -6, -112 on DraftKings. I think, yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know if Ertz should be that encouraging for Sinnott, because I think that Sinnott is, I think he might just be a fullback, man.
I think the problem with Ben Sinnott is he ran into a problem that he had entering college or exiting college, is that he doesn't have position.
Doesn't have position. He's a tweener. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to say he couldn't learn, but he probably won't. All right, man. That is the appetizer. The main event. The Buffalo Bills traveling to play at Arrowhead. -1.5, -115. I would not bet that on DraftKings. Looks like
I've already bet this game as part of the double dip to teaser with Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it.
Last week we talked about teasing the Chiefs in Ohio State, and then when we got to Monday and Ohio State was still 8.5, I teased them with the Bills. I'm sorry to say, because it took them to 7.5. It took them through the key number. So I already have a Bills plus 7.5 ticket attached to that Ohio State one.
How about it? I like that. Yeah, I like the Ohio State side there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that one, Ohio State being 8.5 just worked out perfect to bookend a couple teases, and the game being on Monday just lined up really good.
What do you think, man? High level. What do you think, brother?
And as much as I personally wanted Lamar to get through, because I'm a Lamar slappy and just wanted to finally get over, this is like, if the Bills are ever going to get there, like, they got to get through the Chiefs, right, as part of it.
And they got to do it. They got to do it this year while the Chiefs are actively bad, just actively not that good of a football team.
But it means more, I think, if they get through the Chiefs, right? Like, it'd be like
100%.
if Jordan didn't get through Isaiah, if it was, Braun didn't get through that Warriors team, if it wasn't like this matchup particularly reminds me of a lot of the 90s Cowboys 49ers stuff, right? Where the 49ers would win some regular season games and the Cowboys kind of just owned them in the playoffs for that run. And then they finally got over in the playoffs and were able to win a couple. We're at that point with the Bills where, they've won 4 in a row in the regular season, and they've lost all the 3 playoff games. But you look at these matchups, we know it's going to be tight, man. The last 5 times they played, 9, 3, 3, 6, and 4 points. The games were decided by. All of the past 5 games have been within 4 points going into the fourth quarter. Even if this game doesn't quite isn't quite as scintillating from a huge plays or stuff happening, this game's going to be tight, and it's going to be really, really probably good football up into that point of the game. So I think this is why this game clearly is the late game. It's definitely this game's going to have probably massive ratings, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, Taylor Swift's going to be there. Caitlin Clark is going to be there. Haley Steinfeld, I guess, is Josh Allen's fiance. She'll probably be there. Yeah, so this is
they're married. Are they married already, or are they just
engaged? I believe. So my nerve level has never been higher before.
It has to be.
Yeah,
because objectively, this is the best. If you're just looking at the X and O's aspect of it, this is the best argument you make for the Bills in this matchup.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. The Chiefs. The interesting thing is, you can run on the Bills, but you need to do it in explosive plays. They've given up a lot of explosives.
And the one thing the Chiefs can't do is run the football.
They can run the football for 4 yards. They can't run the football for 13 yards. They can generate some. They can generate some 4-yard runs.
They're dead last in the NFL in running back explosive run rate.
Literally dead last, and it makes absolute sense when you watch, because you're okay, Pacheco is a shell of himself coming back from this injury. Kareem Hunt was the worst running back in the NFL last year, and he's still terrible. And they're still going to run those guys.
And the offensive line has had a bunch of moving parts, on the edges. The interior is still good, but
yes, the interior.
But that's the one Achilles heel. I don't necessarily think the Bills' defense is that tremendous though, either. and we'll see what kind of injuries they have. But they do have kind of the blueprint on like successfully like slowing down Mahomes. We've seen the last 3 times they've played. I mean, they've limited him. They've limited him in these matchups. So
the Chiefs' best avenue of success in this game, some 9-play drives. They get like one explosive play in the passing. I mean, Hollywood almost had one last week, didn't come down with it. Worthy would have scored on that end around that Will Anderson like tackled him through Juwan Taylor, had Will Anderson not been an absolute sickening freak. I mean, my God, that guy is so good. They have the players. They just like, I mean, Rich, they just have not done it all year. The last explosive play I remember Worthy doing was the week 5 touchdown against the Chargers. The right after Rashee Rice gets hurt. He catches the long bomb versus the Chargers. Like, they just are not this. They're not your dad's Kansas City Chiefs.
And look at every time these teams have hooked up recently, the Bills have played just a ton of shell coverage. Like, they're going to invite the Chiefs to run in this game. Even they played in the regular season, 55% too high rate. Mahomes has been awful. Like, it's crazy because it's like this playoff Mahomes is obviously different, but 263 dropbacks against too high this season. He's 32nd in quarterback rating, only 6.4 yards per pass attempt. Yeah, they're gonna want the Chiefs to dink and dunk in this game for sure, and they're gonna try to invite them to hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt.
Did you ever think there would be a time in your life that the Kansas City Chiefs would be 21st in the NFL in yards per play? 21st in the NFL in yards per play. That's what they did to us. You guys love this 2-high safety. You love this new defensive meta.
With them and Burrow are kind of the ushering in of it.
It's terrible, man. And
Chase still finds a way to score 1-play touchdowns.
I know. And for all that we've said against the Bills, I mean, the Bills have been a running team the last, in the playoffs. They play a 6th offensive lineman.
Well, they're the same thing we talked about in the first matchup. They're number 1 in the league in not losing games, like on their own merit. They have the fewest. They allow the fewest sacks plus turnovers per game in the NFL. They're number 1 in the NFL in turnover margin. The 10 more than the next closest team. They have by far the most points off of takeaways in the NFL, and they have allowed the fewest points off turnovers. That was a difference in the game last week. The margin was won in the turnover battle. They didn't make the mistakes. And that they just don't beat themselves. That's what this iteration is. And it's funny that we talk about like a team with like Josh Allen, where the Bills were headed for. The Bills for a while were trying to out Chiefs the Chiefs.
Yes.
And then they pulled it all back. And they pulled it all back.
I mean, the interesting thing is the Bills are sort of a mirror image of the Chiefs on offense. Like they got the one guy, they have Shakir, the Chiefs have Worthy. I guess the Bills don't have Travis Kelce. They have Dalton Kincaid. And Cook is better than Hunt. Pacheco as a rusher could probably play Cook to a draw if he was healthy, but he's not.
I think they've underused Cook in the passing game for sure. Like they've got to get him some more touches in space.
Yeah, I mean, Cook is going to have a good game here. Probably I don't know. It feels like to me the only thing I can point to the Chiefs winning is that they're the Chiefs. That they've got a better.
Well, I mean, it's still playoff Mahomes. It's still playoff Reed. It's playoff Kelce. Like all that shit still exists. Like they still have to overcome the demon.
That's the thing is there is an in my opinion, there is an unquantifiable edge to being the champions. The Patriots had it. I think the Chiefs have it. Certainly like
winning this many close games that the Chiefs have won isn't luck.
It's luck, but it's not an accident. You know what I'm saying? That is where I would land. Like you point to, the Chiefs, they win all these games with terrible point differential. Like the season the Vikings went, what did they go? 15-1, 15-2, I don't remember. That was luck. The Chiefs losing one game in the regular season, sure, okay, Leah Chanel, the Broncos game, whatever. That was luck. But all the rest of them, I don't know, man.
Well, I'm just saying having a winning record in those situations isn't luck.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the ball can always bounce the
Yes,
wrong
there are
way.
absolutely high variance plays like the block field goal and shit. They're like, yes, that individual moment was lucky, but also like
yeah, they just continually put themselves in the right situation, and they always take advantage. If you make a mistake against the Chiefs in the playoffs, you know, they're coming for you. Although I'll tell you one thing that was really funny. Opening possession against the Texans, they get the long kick return from Remigio. They get the penalty. They're on the 18-yard line or whatever. And I'm like, this is over. And then they ran twice and had an incompletion, and they
well,
kicked the
this is
field
the
goal.
worst red zone Chiefs offense the Mahomes Reed era has had.
Yeah, it's been really bad. They should probably figure that out. I honestly, the thing that I would prefer them to do is to just give up on the early down runs. Just like if it's gonna be 2nd and 9, you might as well try and throw on 1st and 10. You know what I mean? Like if your base rate of return of a first down rush is getting a yard, then we should probably chill. Now that being said, Mahomes in the playoffs as an underdog or less than a 3-point favorite is 7-0. I think that is just kind of self-evident. I'm gonna be pretty bummed out if the Bills win. I don't want them to win, but
I
I
want the
can.
Bills to win. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, fuck you, man. No, I'm just kidding. I actually, it's one of those
Bills
things.
Lions, like, because I wanted the one team. It was like how I compared it was like when like Cubs Indians were played in the World Series. Like one of these teams has to win. Like one of these franchises that have just been so barren for so long have to win. I honestly think the Eagles win it all at this point. But
I agree.
I would like to see a team that has never won a Super Bowl win at this point.
The Bills have never won a Super Bowl.
The Bills have never won a Super Bowl. No, they went the 4 times in the 90s and lost them all.
Have the Commanders ever won a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But this is their first NFC title game since 91, I believe. They had the second longest drought, the Browns being obviously number one for teams that haven't played in a conference championship. But yeah, I believe, I want to say Washington has at least 2, maybe 3. Definitely the Doug Williams one. And I believe that they won once, another one in the 80s. But definitely Doug Williams. Definitely the Doug Williams one. And then I believe there's another one in there.
All right. Do you have any angles? Where are you betting this one? Are you not?
Yeah, well, like I said, I already had that ticket with the tees. I mean, if you're asking me though, like again, it's a lot like last week where you asked me Ravens, Bills, and I was like, I like the Ravens based on the matchup, but I said confidence level of 51%, and they lost the turnover battle. So I think very similar to here. I'm like 50.5% Bills, maybe 50.1 to 49.9. Like, this game is going to be super tight. I actually could see this at a point, people being mad at this game because it's obviously got a lot of hype and cachet. I think this game could be kind of a slog early on. And people being like, oh, why is this game like, oh, Chiefs Bills? Like I could see this game like at halftime being like, 13-10 or something, and people like losing their minds. But this game's going to be tight. It's going to be close.
Oh, it's definitely going to be tight. Both teams are going to be running. The passing game is going to be short. There's going to be a lot of Shakir, a lot of Worthy, a lot of Kelsey, a lot of Ty Johnson is going to be in there more than you are wanting him to be. There's going to be some long drives. Josh Allen doesn't take sacks. Mahomes doesn't really take sacks, although recently he has been taking sacks, which is maybe I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I do think it will be a dogfight. If I was gonna lay, I'm not gonna bet on the spread of this game. It's just I got too much going on.
You're just money line. If you're money lining either team regardless.
Yes, but I think
unless you teased it.
I think under 48.5 is probably pretty good.
It's weird because the Bills are this team where you can watch them in a game and you'll be like, what's this? What even is this offense? And then they always have 30 points. Like they somehow always have like 27 to 30 points.
They're very good.
I mean, the first time these teams played, neither offense played good, and they scored 51.
Yes, they did. I mean, the Chiefs really played bad in that game.
Neither team played. It's the same factor. Like Spags knew the assignment. That I mean, that's the one underrated piece of this whole Chiefs dynasty is the Spags factor.
Oh,
Spags has been such a key component of this and doesn't get treated in the same area. Even earlier, I was like Mahomes, Reed, Kelsey. Like Spags definitely belongs in that territory because we talked about it with the Ravens and Josh Allen splits last week against man zone coverage and stuff. And Spags knew the first matchup. They played their 5th highest rated zone coverage in that game. When they zone blitz Josh Allen, he was 2 of 8 with an interception that game, 3 yards per pass attempt. 5.4 yards for pass attempts against zone coverage in that game. Like Spags knew, so. I mean, this game's gonna be. I don't think this game's gonna feature like a lot of really like significant downfield passing.
No, maybe 1 or 2 splash plays. One to Cooper, 1 to Worthy, or whatever. All right, man. Let's do a pick 'em.
Yeah, and I forgot that the when they were the Redskins actually beat the Bills in that 91 Super Bowl. That was Mark Rippon.
Wow.
His son, Brett Rippon, the infamous starter of the
no way.
That
guy's an NFL. That guy's an NFL quarterback's son.
Yeah, I think he's a coach somewhere. I think I either like a quarterback's coach somewhere or coaches in college ranks.
I want to say that's right. Brett Rippon.
Not Brett Rippon. I think Mark Rippon.
Oh,
dad.
Brett Rippon.
Brett Rippon might be a coach somewhere too at this point.
No, he's still a Viking.
Yeah.
Mark Rippon, not currently employed, I don't think.
Okay.
He was a coach though. Okay. You ready to cook up a pick 'em real quick?
Yeah. Let's fire.
All right. I'll give you my gold star mega can't lose. Put your mortgage on it.
It's the same thing. Go back to it.
4.5 rushing attempts for Mahomes. He got it in the first half.
Yep.
Last time. So shout out to Mahomes for doing that. Yeah, everyone's doing this, but sometimes everyone wins. Sometimes
there's a reason. Was that historical anomalies?
anomalies?
Well, we would need a historical anomaly in context of the season because every game that the Commanders have been an underdog, Austin Eckler has cleared his receiving over and rushing plus receiving yards over.
Yeah. That's a good pull. That's a good pull, Reeves.
But there's a reason everyone's going to it.
Yeah. I think Brian Robinson Jr. might legit get like 8 carries for 10 yards in this game, and then we never see him again. I wouldn't be surprised actually if Mick Nichols plays more than be up here. Not only is this true, but he legit just had 5 rush attempts in the first half.
Yeah.
Last week. He just runs more in the playoffs. All right, Reeves, whole menu is yours. Who do you want to take a peek at?
Oh, what do we want to do? Hit me with some Shakir stuff.
Khalil Shakir, I like these two. 4.5 receptions, 56.5 yards, 10 fantasy points, 22.5 longest reception. I might do under. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like that longest catch. I like both the catches, yards. I did bet him at plus 360 to have the most receptions in the game because you just need him to beat Kelsey.
You just need him to beat Kelsey.
So I thought that there was good value on that. But he had a career high in targets the first time these teams played. Chiefs have been a slot funnel. They didn't have Kincaid or Keon Coleman in the first matchup, but I mean, Kincaid just got out-snapped by Dawson Knox. So
not great. Let's do 7.5 targets for Shakir.
Has Liam explained the Dalton Kincaid thing to you this year with like any success?
He just says he's not healthy, probably.
All right.
I did get a good pull.
Did you do targets? I like the targets. I like
yes.
that. Yeah, 7.5 targets. Yeah, I like that.
Kincaid is 7th amongst all tight ends in targets per route run, and he is 17th in all tight ends in PPR fantasy points per game. Just think Dalton Kincaid.
Well, he doesn't play like other tight ends play. Like that's fun. Outside of Shakir, they rotate all of these dudes.
Well, Reeves, they rotate all of them because they're all bad.
Yeah.
That's the subtext.
Did you want to take a flyer on some Hollywood stuff? He got that bump last week, or you just want to do worthy or
no,
playoff
72% of the routes. I think we do 39.
It's just low. It's just a low total. If he's gonna be on the field that much, you just bet on him just being out there.
Yeah, I think we do 39.5 receiving yards for Hollywood. We were 1 away last week.
Were
Whatever
we?
We did. I don't even remember what
Well, we
it was.
did Gibbs' longest rush. He went out with a bang. But unfortunately, we can no longer bet Jahmyr Gibbs' longest rush is gone this year.
It won't be McDuffie because McDuffie doesn't go.
No, he plays in the slot.
Yeah.
That's why the Chiefs are a slot funnel, though, and that's why they're bad against tight ends, is because Cooper
isn't suddenly bad. He just doesn't play. He played.
He's in the Hopkins zone. Like they're not running routes.
Yeah. Although I think one of my wrinkles.
Also, we talked about the Shakir thing. We're anticipating also the Chiefs not to play as much man coverage as they typically play.
Yeah, that probably will be the case. One of my pet theories this week is that Hopkins might play more. They might do a little bit less Juju, a little bit less Watson, a little bit less of these small guys.
I actually don't, because of what we talked about the Ravens Bills last week, because the Bills want to play that Buffalo big nickel, and I think you might see more Noah Gray and 2 tight end stuff.
All right. Noah Gray is going to score a touchdown in this game, but let's see what we've got. Let's do 1.5 do you like 1.5 receptions or 14.5 receiving yards for Noah Gray more?
Probably just 2 catches, I guess, right?
2 catches, Noah Gray, bang, bang.
We got to get 7 the other game. What are we doing for Saquon? His shit's got to be stupid.
It's literally like, I can't, I'm not clicking it. I would never click the under. I would never click the under on 130.
What's his longest rush?
Oh, longest rush we could do. Longest rush is going to be 25.5.
That's still insane.
It's still insane. Yeah.
25.5 for longest run is absolutely bonkers.
I'll tell you this. You really want to do Saquon. You do 12.5 receiving yards. Is there
just fantasy points?
Yeah. 20.5.
It's so silly.
That is less than he is projected for whatever that's worth. I can't. It's just too insane.
It is.
Let's do 14.5 longest rush for Jaden Daniels. You like that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 14.5 yards for the longest rush. We never do this. I am going to take an under 37.5 rushing yards for Brian Robinson Jr. 37.5. I'm going under. They're not going to be able to frickin' run against the Eagles.
We only have 2 games to pick from, so we break the seal on the unders. Is there anything for like Josh Allen sacks or anything?
That's Reeves. That's you. That's why we bring you on. You're sharp man. 1.5. That is a bad line. Even money, 1.5. Guy never gets sacked.
Yeah, never gets sacked.
If I was going to take something there, I would take a lower. We could do.
That's what I meant. Would we do just him to take 1 sack or fewer?
Yeah, let's do it. Lower there. And then let's do Isaiah Pacheco lower than 8.5 rushing attempts. I think the stakes are too high here. Oh, no. Take that reverse. Worthy 3.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I can get with that.
Yeah. Can I?
What are his catches? His catches are 4.5.
4.5.
He's got 5, at least 5 in 6 games in a row.
Yes, he is. He's going to be a huge part of the game plan. Yeah, it is a pretty good slate for unders, so that's why we just took all over. So
yeah, there's only two games to pick from. It is. What did we miss? I'm trying to think of what we had last week. I know we had Gibbs longest.
It would take me. No, actually, you know what? The one that was 7-8 was with Liam.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Mahomes higher than 4.5 rushing attempts. Khalil Shakir higher than 7.5 targets.
You got a lot of low totals too.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown 39.5 receiving yards. Noah Gray 1.5 receptions. Jaden Daniels 14.5 for the longest rush. Brian Robinson Jr., 37.5 rushing yards. Josh Allen, lower than 1.5 sacks taken, and Worthy higher than 4.5 rushing yards. My good man, Reeves, where can the people find you in the next 2 weeks?
Man. Yeah, listen, I wrote up these games. Sharp Football. I'm going to do update dynasty rankings next week with the week off. With no games next week, I'm going to make it a plan to get in the lab and overhaul the dynasty rankings. So that's on the agenda. And then I don't know if we'll work out something where I come on with you, but I'm going to the Super Bowl. So we'll see if we can work out that next week. But I will write up the Super Bowl too in worksheet fashion. We're also going to be doing like a big like props and betting show that's going to be live, like me, Warren, and Ray. When we're going to be like building tickets and doing stuff that week of the Super Bowl too. So look out for that. But
hell yeah. All right, everyone.
We're just at the end of the road. It's been a good one.
Well, before you know it, we are going to be arguing about Marcus Yarns. Wait till you find out who Marcus Yarns is. All right, everyone. Tell Reeves to have a great day. Make sure that you're checking out the stuff over at Sharp Football Analysis. And Mr. Nez is going to hop
good luck,
on.
everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Have a good day,
Absolutely.
boss.
Later.
Nez, Mr. Takes.
What's going on, sir?
How we doing, brother? How's your Friday going?
It's going all right. I'm recovering from, I got dog bowl qualifier hangover right now. So, getting the morale back, doing pick'ems, back in the hoop streets. And I'm rocking some blue light glasses because I've been like a big time migraine sufferer lately. And I'm quite certain it has to do with my like 16 hours of screen time a day. So I'm trying to do something about the blue light giving me these like visual migraines. So if you see me looking like a nerd on these shows, I'm turning a new leaf. I'm trying a new brand and also trying to limit the migraines that I am suffering these days.
Do you think it's the blue light or are you dehydrated, Nez?
Well, I have had quite a bit of coffee this morning, but I'm a pretty good hydrator, I will say. I'm definitely, I would say more hydrated than the average bear.
Caleb, this is that's a crazy thing to use your super chat on, but I could go so far down this rabbit hole. I'll say my favorite backup quarterback from the 2000s to the 2010s. I don't know if he strictly meets the definition of this, but Quincy Carter is my answer.
Wow.
He started for a while, but he was also a backup. Quincy Carter, very high on the list for me, though, of backup quarterbacks.
I want to just throw my hat in the ring for Charlie Batch. That's my guy. That's a Steelers.
No.
Of course.
Even better. Not Charlie Batch, the guy who went to Oregon. His name started with a D. What was he was a Steeler. Dennis Dixon.
Dennis Dixon. Oh my God. I thought he was going to be the one. I was so psyched when they took him.
There you go.
Wow.
Oh, Antoine Randall. I mean, Randall L., if you've ever played Madden in your life, Antoine Randall L. Ooh, man. That was you know what, Caleb? The rest of my day, I'm just going to be remembering that guy, and I'm going to be remembering guys from like who were my backup quarterback in Madden 08 or whatever.
It's a fantastic use of the super chat.
Cordell Stewart, great man. Yeah, how'd the dog bowl treat you? We tilting? Did you? I saw
mega tilting.
Hey, I saw some big tilt in the Deposit Kingdom this morning, and I just basically yesterday I decided I was using my time to finish NFL BR, and I didn't have it in me.
Great idea. No, I'm mega tilting. I had the highest scoring. I mean, I did do it myself, unfortunately, but that's what happens when your ranks are, a little different than the field. I had two of the highest scoring Paolo Banchero teams last night. Davis, do you know how many field goal attempts Paolo Banchero made last night? He took double digit.
2.
He made 1.
You hate to see it. You had Jokic Banchero teams, and he just sucked.
Correct. Yeah, Jokic, Banchero, J-Dub.
You know what? I lied to you a little bit because the other day because I don't play very many entries. I did like 20 teams, and I took Dyson Daniels on every one of them. Genius. And he got like 17 or whatever. But last night he got, what did he get? Like 45. He had like 6 steals.
He was the best player on the court last night.
Yeah. So I lied about not tilting, actually, which is, I mean, that's pretty much how.
That's what it's all. That's what you pay for is the right to tilt.
All right, man. Are you ready to take some unders? Because I have not pulled this menu up yet over at Unabated. I promise you, the moment we click at unabated.com/NFL/DFS, select site Underdog Fantasy, 100% the blitz. Every top play is going to be an under. I'd be stunned. This will be a good bet. How many edges over 1% will be shown on hires?
Oh my God. I mean, what's the first one? Who's the first hire we're going to see even? Oh, it didn't take long.
Ray Davis, DeAndre Hopkins are hires.
Ray Davis hires such a ball knowers selection. Like eye test. That's an eye test edge right there. That's not even projection. That's just like, look at the guy run. He's the best running back on the Bills.
Noah Gray, Mahomes.
Way more than I expected.
I'll tell you what though. Barkley lower rushing yards. Yeah, I was gonna say
114.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned he's not off of it by 20 yards. I'm stunned it's only by 15 yards. That is absolutely classic. We did okay last week. We didn't have any of the big ones hit. We did get my gold star lock. Mahomes 4.5 rushing attempts came through. The spoiler alert, it's gonna be that why is it not 5.5? I feel like I'm getting pranked, or maybe there's something I'm not understanding. I'm missing something. Yeah.
I don't know. There might be
the
something
average is
in the
like
models.
6.5 in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's something in the models that say like, quarterbacks don't like to rush against the Bills. I'm not that much of a ball knower. I'm not going to pretend to have that edge. But no, I would take the higher. All these quarterbacks rush more. They all do.
They all rush more. It's fact here. All right, we've got, when we put Mahomes in, Cardi just doesn't project quarterback rush attempts.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
That's if you were ever on Unabated and you see the I, it means that one of the inputs is not there.
Got it.
So it means that either, or maybe they don't sim it. Maybe that's what it is the Unabated guys don't sim it. By the way, guys, if you want to follow along in this menu, the link to the Unabated menu in the YouTube description, in the YouTube chat, trying to send some more people over there. I got to prove my worth to the guys over at unabated.com. All right, let's go ahead and begin. So Cardi is showing a lower on De'Ami Brown, which I'm completely fine with.
Sure.
But I think there is a false assumption being made in the projections, which is Olamide Zaccheaus is being projected like he's in and he's going to play. I'm pretty certain he's going to barely play. I think
so.
So he had the groin injury last week, came back in the game, but only came back in for like 6 routes. Jamison Crowder was the slot wide receiver for the second half. He ran 31% of the routes. Zaccheaus ran.
He didn't, like you said, he got banged up.
But he's been limited in practice, which I don't. Can you play a banged up Olamide Zaccheaus in the playoffs if you're Cliff Kingsbury? By the way, how great was that? John Bates gets a designed play action target. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. John Bates just gets a designed play action wide open. I was like, come on, man. John Bates, bro. Yeah.
I gotta open my door real quick. Sorry, my dog. Just 1 second. Sorry.
Go for it. I recently learned, by the way, guys, about the John Bates snap share thing. I really did not know this. The Commanders apparently on their depth chart list him as a fullback. So apparently this role that John Bates has been playing is not like a blocking tight end. They think he's like their fullback. So
they have an infatuation with tight ends that are fullbacks, huh?
Yeah, I guess. And that actually makes more sense that they drafted Sinnott knowing that. Anyway, by the way, how are you sick enough to be, are you drafting NFL BRs for this slate?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I'm maxed in the main BR. I'm maxed in a lot of the contests. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm all in. It's the last one. It is a great slate. What's your De'Ami Brown position?
I'm taking him. I'm taking him over the Bills receivers other than Shakir. I mean, I'm letting the eye test fool me, man. I mean, like, they're using De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown looks like he deserves to be on the field and deserves touches. All right. I give up. I give up. I forget. I've forgotten everything that I thought about De'Ami Brown up until these playoffs. He's a different guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I still like the lower though.
Oh, sure. Of course.
In fact, I think all of these Washington lines are terrible, man. I think
you think it's going to be seatbelt season?
It's not, I don't think they're going to get like ran out of the building, but I just think everyone got so excited about them beating a Lions team, starting like couch delivery salespeople, you know, this is the best defense in the NFL by like a lot. By like a lot.
The two men in a truck secondary.
Yes. They're like literally the guy, like whatever guy started an outside linebacker for the Lions was like unloading a couch 2 weeks before, you know? Well, let's basically correlate these and we'll do McLaurin lower receiving yards, De'Ami lower receiving yards. I'm definitely not doing Eckler lower receiving yards though. He is going to get
scary.
Yeah, he's getting 9 checkdowns in this game. You know what is interesting? What do they have for McNichols? I think one of my other things is I think McWeapon is going to be playing a bit over
can't project him
over Brian Robinson Jr. Yeah.
I know.
Just makes sense.
It feels like they should. It feels like they should, and then they continue to use Brian Robinson in ways that like confound me. But they were up big last week, so he had a lot of usage on the ground. But the week before that, like the receiving work for Brian Robinson was like strangely good. I didn't understand it. I'm with you though. I think McNichols is probably going to see a lot of work.
Do you like DeAndre Hopkins higher receiving yards? I don't love it. Honestly,
hard to love it considering we just saw a big fat donut from our guy last week. Hard to love a hire on DeAndre.
Yeah,
I really like Hollywood, man. I love the Hollywood hires, and it's an alliteration.
Cardi has him as a marginal edge here. I think we do it.
Okay, if as long as we have permission.
As long as we have permission. By the way, again, I don't know if anyone from Underdog watches this. I assume they don't. But again, Hope, Numi, developers, Jeremy, whoever is over there, please. Fantasy point sliders.
Every week we got to mention it. Fantasy
point sliders. Let me, if this is my country, it's a new direction we're headed in. Gary Gensler can't protect me anymore. Let me, if I want to slide Hollywood Brown to 17.95 fantasy points, that should be my God-given right on the Dog app.
I'm telling you, they could take advantage of us. We would absolutely pay for a premium on the slide, and just to be able to do it, just to be able to get the clicks in.
Happily, I would do an Underdog DFS Pick Em entry that like sports gambling Twitter would like laugh at.
Yeah, I'm like, well, they should have gave me the option.
I hate those people, by the way.
Oh, they're the worst.
Sports gambling Twitter, round them up. Camps for those people. Noah Gray, higher receiving yards. If Mahomes was not the gold star play, Noah Gray is going to have 3 receptions for 19 yards and a touchdown in this game. That you can take that one to the bank.
Yeah,
Nez, if you're not taking Noah Gray and NFL BR, you need to
no
get
mojo.
In. I'm not saying anything about your character. I want you to win. I want to see you flourish and prosper. So I think you need to get on that. And
right.
I would also rather die than take a Travis Kelce lower in a playoff game. I mean,
please don't make me do it.
I did just see a James Cook higher rushing yards. Yeah, that's gonna happen. He's gonna be able to do that. So we've got a good bit of cumulative edge here. We've got 31% plus 28 plus 2 plus 17 plus 12. That is that's right in the sweet spot.
I'm down for all these.
It's gonna be hard to build a super slider. It's gonna be very easy to do a hateful 8. It's gonna be so easy.
Hateful 8 is gonna be really tough, but unfortunately we have no choice but to try.
Sorry, it's what are we gonna do? And Don't let me put Bates in this week. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no,
we're gonna have to take some IDPs. That's the thing. We're gonna have to take.
Oh
some
my
individual
god, that's actually
drops.
a great idea because like I have absolutely no edge in that at all. But that'll be so much fun to do, anyways.
None. All right, we've got
a lot of colors here. Noah Gray, a lot of browns.
That's true. That's true. Do we have a green? Do we have a green in the playoffs?
Maybe in hoops.
I already took that.
James
refresh.
Cook, did we get that one in?
No, I gotta refresh. Sometimes
when you slide.
Sometimes on the desktop it gets a little buggy. You guys are doing off and on the clock at a different time today, right?
We are. Yeah, we're doing it at 1 Central, 2 Eastern.
Whose schedule is that to cater to?
You, my man.
Really?
Yeah, you guys are big dogs. Yeah.
Oh
with ADP chasing.
We've been trying to figure out when to do ADP chasing all week, and it just has not worked.
No, it's
bang.
fine.
There we go. We have got a 5-legger. De'Ami Brown lower, Terry McLaurin lower, Noah Gray higher, 14.5, Hollywood Brown higher, 34.5, James Cook higher than 53.5. The link to that is in the YouTube chat. The link to that is in the YouTube description. Nez, do we want to do the super slider next? Do we want to hate next? We probably don't have to do pick'ems for an hour, granted that we have a very small menu to choose from. I've been
thinking about doing something crazy, Davis.
Okay, let's do it.
A game high rush. Now you can't correlate with this because you can correlate somewhat, but you can't.
We should. Yes, we should do some of these game highs. Yeah,
game high rush. You can get like Jaden Daniels for 3.96x, but you can't do a Saquon lower with it. But you can do like a Devontae Smith higher, or like a Jalen Hurts higher, something that indicates that they have to pass because Saquon is not rushing for more than Jaden Daniels. And I think there's very few ways in which Jaden Daniels rushes for more than Saquon. And a lot of that, I think, is dependent on the Eagles trailing, of course. So what happens when they trail? But I love starting off with the Jaden Daniels game high rusher and just telling yourself, how does it get home? How does that happen?
Barkley rolls his ankle.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we can't do anything Barkley related with it. We have to do either, like I said,
game high rush yards, almost a 4xer there. How about we do Hollywood Brown?
Okay.
Game high. Oh, they don't have it.
Game high receiving?
They don't have game high receiving.
They have Kelsey. They have Worthy for 2.62.
Let's do that.
They have DeAndre Hopkins for like 10x.
Let's do. There we go. That is a 31.1.
Sure.
Yeah. Shipper. Let's do.
I think those are so much fun.
They are. I mean, we got the likely one. We have priors for beating the market.
That's true.
On these, Nez.
And I had a Sabonis game high scorer too, so I'm kind of dialed in on these.
Oh my god, they do those for NBA.
Oh yeah.
I do love that. Because they're probably, I would guess, on Underdog, they probably miss some of the correlations there. Like you could do Sabonis game high scorer, De'Aaron Fox lower assists, and they wouldn't penalize it. But basically what you're saying is it's just not a game that Fox has the ball in his hands or whatever. They're
you have to find sneaky ways to do it because like what we couldn't do here is do Daniels with Hurts passing attempts. Like they got you there. You have to kind of sneaky find your way around it.
Yeah.
Don't
Xavier Worthy game high receiving yards is really good. Great
multiplier. Like it shouldn't be that long of odds that he leads the game in receiving yards.
Okay, here we go. Got an IDP. IDP Terrell Bernard has been under 5.5 solo tackles and 9 out of 10 projected for 5.3 solo tackles.
I don't even want to embarrass myself. I'm not 100% sure what team.
Yeah, I literally don't know who that guy is, but bang.
He's the Bill.
We just learned.
I thought so.
All right, well, let's do the Hateful Eight.
Let's go.
I think we do Terry McLaurin lower receiving yards. Again, it's just like if you're the Eagles and you have this great defense, you're like, you know what? If Olamide Zaccheaus and De'Ami Brown and John Bates beat us in this game, so be it. Cliff is not going to move him around. He's just going to stick him out there to the left.
Yep.
To say you go win, brother. I think we do that. I actually have an IDP one.
Oh, Chris Jones
and a Menahue. I wonder what the prices are.
Ooh,
but
Chris Jones, you only have a sack.
To pick
well,
you want to take Chiefs defensive player sack lowers because Josh Allen never gets sacked.
Yeah.
So whatever the best price that we can get here is. It's so funny to scroll these menus. Karlaftis, we could take the lower. Let's take the Chris Jones sack lower.
I'm in it.
Chris Jones, I believe, also has the more difficult tackle matchup for them. That might be fake sharp. I might have just made that up, but I think the Dawkins is like this crazy good tackle, and I think that is who is lined up opposite Chris Jones. If that's not accurate, please do not at me, bro. Please do not at me. I'm begging you to not at me.
I need more of these tackles and assists. We got to do more. Who else can we do on here?
Well, actually, you'd take a lower on an Eagles linebacker tackles if we think that they're just going to be down. Like if we think the Eagles kind of control this game, then there's not going to be a need for Zach Bond to have 900 tackles in this game.
It's a pretty good point. Warren Burks.
No. Yeah, we would do Zach Bond lower tackles. That's the move. Official.
All right. You heard it here first. Just solo or tackle and assist.
I feel like the tackles and the assists makes it like you could just lose that so much easier. You know what I'm saying? They'll give an assist to tackle to anybody.
Right? They hand those out like candy, I feel like.
Here, okay, let's see it. Let's just see if they penalize us for this. Let's see if this is a correlation penalty that exists. So we've got lower tackles for one of their interior linebackers. Lower rushing attempts. That's not penalized, right? That's a full multiplier.
Try a higher.
Oh no, it is. It is. Wow, they're too good, man. They're too good. They
got you, man. They got you.
They did, and my brain was like, that's just times 2. Oh, yeah. No, they got me. They got me. All right, shout out to the developers over at Underdog.
Some very strong if-then statements going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Chad, I'm sorry, man. There's 2 games. We're doing our best. All right, that is 4.
Okay.
Where do we go? Gosh. I think we do. We got to do a lower for someone on Washington.
Okay.
Let's do. Okay, pick your lower out of Crowder or Zaccheaus.
What's Crowder at?
Zaccheaus or De'Ami. I wonder. Actually, is there anything for Crowder? Crowder over 10.5 receiving yards. Let's save that one. Let's save that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do. I think De'Ami lower receiving yards.
De'Ami lower. We are locked in on.
Yeah.
The best defense. It's a lot of receiving yards defense, for him.
A lot of receiving yards. And this is a guy that just recently came on.
I'll tell you what.
No one was hitting this.
Here's a good one. What does Calcaterra's touchdown odds go to if Goddard gets ruled out?
Oh man, do they even list Calcaterra right now? They've got to be
8.51x.
Wow. That goes
Goddard,
to what, 3x?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's Goddard legit back-to-back DNPs.
and he's missed a lot of time this season already. It has like I moved him down in my ranks for BRs pretty significantly.
Why don't we do
we might get some kickers involved.
I was gonna say, let's do maybe not in the Hateful Eight though, because I kind of think there is gonna be some kicking. Here's a good Hateful Eight. Isaiah Pacheco under 31.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
Or 8.5 rushing attempts.
Let's do rushing yards. I was gonna suggest Zane Gonzalez field goal lowers because like they've been so aggressive.
They've been so aggressive. That's
Commanders.
Nez. He's just always he's coming correct. Zane Gonzalez.
Just for the hateful
lower.
8.
Hateful 8. All right.
Last
hate
one.
to do it. And by hate to do it, I mean I love to do it.
I know this pains you so much.
We'll do Dalton Kincaid lower than 2.5 receptions at 1.19x. That gets us up to a 47.46 multiplier on the Hateful 8. How is the unabated rankings stuff been going? Are you guys on late enough in the day to use the ranks on stream? Because I know Neil is going to start using the ranks, like doing like some NBA streaming.
Yeah, we have done it like once or twice, and it was a lot of fun. It's just like tough because like that's like a lot of cramming going on draft wise. But we had a good time with it the other day when we were on there looking at the projections, and like we had a lot of swaps that day, so that was like actually a lot of fun. Like that was a pretty deep in-depth dive as far as like who we should be swapping to. Here's what Unabated has, and that was actually a pretty good discussion. But we're on before then. So I'd like to make some more time for it though, because it was a good talk. It was a good time.
Yeah, I am looking forward to NFL like being done and having no NFL to draft other than the big board to be able to do some NBA streaming.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we're pulling up. Okay, now we got to do the sliders. We're sliding. We can slip and slide. Either way,
let's pretend these games are going to be awesome,
or terrible, or like the worst games of all time. Could be either.
Like two good matchups, but I mean, I think we all kind of feel it in our hearts that these are probably going to be like I'm just preparing for boring games.
Well, Bills Chiefs might be low scoring, but I don't think it's going to be boring because somehow these are both conference championship games, but Bills Chiefs feels like about 10 times more important somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Okay. You can have the board. I know what my mega slider is.
Okay. I want to mega slide Devontae Smith receiving.
Love it.
Just think that
he's
really
finding his inner excellence.
Yeah, I just feel like he's just not that much different from AJ Brown. So I was gonna just do like an 80. Yep, right there. Yeah.
All right. We have got Devonta Smith to 79.5 receiving yards at a 2.37x multiplier. Let's do Xavier Worthy, and I'm going to check these prices. So 6.5 receptions is 2.21x. And his receiving yard slider is 79. So do you think 7 receptions or 80 yards is more likely?
7 or 80.
Both feel pretty likely to me. I just don't. This matchup is just so requires what Xavier Worthy can do.
I kind of like. I think I'm with 80 here.
Bang. He gets the. He finally catches the 47-yard pass along the sideline. Bang.
They got to be asking a lot of him this game, I would imagine.
Okay. These are the other candidates, I think, for slider hires. Eckler receiving yards. Barkley giga rushing yards.
Come on. Barkley. How high will they let us take Barkley?
That's actually a good question. How high will they let us take Barkley?
This is going to just be
They will let us take Barkley to 199 yards at 5.46x.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. That is
okay.
absurd.
I actually don't know. Do you know how they do this? Like, let's say we did flex this and Barkley is the one that doesn't hit. Do you know how they do the payouts? Because I have never hit one of these because I've never done them as a flex entry before. But I've always wondered, like, let's say you do the crazy, does it just pay it corresponding to what you hit?
They do the math, and then you have to check out. There's a payout details button, and then like they'll update it once one of those picks loses, and then you can check the payout details, and then they'll tell you what your expected payout is if the rest of them hit.
Okay. What do you
can't.
think?
Are you about to play this? Because like we need to make sure. Like we need to see how much we're leaving on the table. Okay.
So let's check. Let's check it. Oh shit! I did the thing.
Doing 179 does like there's still meat on the bone with that at least.
179.
179 leaves us with some meat on the bone. That's 102x.
I mean, simple process. I don't. There's what more is there to explain?
Are we sending this thing in?
Dude, I just can't. It's too slappy.
It's insane.
Even for me, that is too slappy.
It's insane, man.
I think it. If I'm thinking like, what is a way that some of these games can go really sideways in a way that is like exciting? I wonder if like Jaden Daniels' crazy yardage or something is in play, or like Jaden Daniels how about 100 receiving yards for Kelsey?
I'll put that in there.
That is a come on, dude. Travis Kelsey, he like averages 100 yards in the playoffs, I think.
So
per my data,
the 72x. I think we do like a little baby Allen rush yards or something.
Okay.
I think because like we've got Worthy going off, we've got Kelsey going off. We need the Bills doing their part somehow, some way. And if you do Josh Allen 59, that gets us to 178.
Wow. Okay.
Sure.
Done. Doing that.
Why wouldn't you? What do you have to lose here?
What do you have to lose? You got 3 more NFL games, like as far as you know, for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true.
Right. That is the super slider. And now I'm going to click reuse players, and I'm not going to forget, and I'm going to flex it. And that is how. Oh, okay. I got to wait 30 seconds.
Yeah. Even though you're flexing it, they got to make sure you're not.
This actually is probably an insanely good bet. Josh Allen game high rush yards, because game high rush yards in this game could be 33.
It is, but it's 1.67, so it's not like I don't know why I need that to be like a 2, but like no, it is good. It is definitely good.
Okay, let's do touchdowns, and then we can get out of here. We can go have lunch. We can go have lunch early. We can get out.
I got some soup on the stove right now. I'm excited.
Yeah, there you go. All right, yeah. Look, I could keep wagering on underdog.com this entire time, but I think I probably shouldn't. Let's go back over. Something I like to do is I like to just see. I do this a lot for golf on Unabated. I just check where whatever projection source I'm using is off the most relative to the market in yards and stuff.
Yeah.
Because basically it's a playing time thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just saying my projection source is differing, saying this guy plays more, and then correlate that over to.
It's generally, yeah. It's not usually a rates thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, unless there's an obvious reason for the touchdown rate to be off. Our first hire, what is a Ray Davis touchdown pay?
Oh my God, that's got to be what? Like, honestly, it's probably not nearly as much as you would think. I bet it's sub 3x.
I'm gonna guess it is 3.3x.
Your market maker.
That I can't do that. That's way too low. It's way too low.
You know, it's a mobile thing, Davis, but I don't know if you know, we got split the pot back for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to do. Let's do that. Let's do our first touchdown ones, and then we can move on. All right, split the pot. Who are we splitting the pot with in Kansas City?
Oh, buddy. Who? So one thing that we didn't really talk about is like Mahomes is Mahomes awful pick because people think that he's going to get there with passing.
They think the passing touchdown counts.
Yeah. So it's such bad alpha. So no Mahomes, no Josh Allen, no James Cook, no Travis Kelce. I think Hollywood, DeAndre.
Let me tell you the right answer. His name is Amari Cooper.
What happened to Amari Cooper, man?
I mean, he's old and he's dusty.
But it's like, since when? Like, what out of nowhere?
Like very recently. But I'm gonna use my split. At least you have 3 of these that you can use on Underdog. I might use them all on because it's actually nice that they do this. They tweet the information and
it's
you
great.
get.
Yeah.
So basically what people do is the chalk gets way piled on like you would not believe. Like last week, Gibbs, over half the field took Gibbs.
You literally got your entry back.
You got $5 back. Yeah.
It's fucking stupid, man.
Insane.
Congrats.
So,
you know what I always think of is have you watched Succession?
No.
Oh, dude.
No.
You need to watch Succession. He's in a bidding war with somebody, and he just calls him and just says "Congrats on saying the highest number." You're like, "You fucking idiot," and then just hangs up. And that's basically "Congrats on taking the highest odds." Way to go, you did it.
I thought you were gonna hit me with you guys are deeply unserious people. Oh, they changed the rules.
What? Let me look.
Oh, if any of your 3 players score the first touchdown, you split 100K. Okay. So here, I got it right here. Amari Cooper, Juju Smith-Schuster. We're betting on Juju to score a touchdown.
Jesus Christ.
In this reality. And Noah Gray. Kansas City always defers. Kansas City always defers. Always.
Do the Bills don't most teams defer?
I wonder. I don't know. That's the thing is I just don't know. I am unaware of what the Bills do, but I know Kansas City always defers. I assume defensive players don't count. That would be a good what? Yeah. You know who no one's taken, Nez? No one's taken Dawson Knox, who I like 1.5 receptions anyway.
Yeah, I was going to suggest Dawson Knox.
All right. I'm going to flex this one because Juju Smith-Schuster is probably not scoring.
If he is, just think about the compounding interest that you're getting on that.
Think about the insane compound interest. We've got Amari Cooper, 18.5 receiving yards. Juju Smith-Schuster to score a touchdown. Dawson Knox, 1.5 receptions. All right, let's do it for the other game, and then we can get out of here. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Using your token on Saquon Barkley, just go buy a government bond or something instead. I mean, just waste your money doing something else.
I can't imagine a worse use of funds, man.
No,
honestly,
I really can't.
What's tricky is I would love to just use it on 3 commanders instead. Because
sure.
If it's an Eagle, it's Hurts Saquon.
Calcaterra, brother. Stay woke.
Now talk about third eye.
Jahan Dotson. Kenny Gainwell. He
got his touchdown. Gainwell, I do like.
Okay, let's do Eckler. Crowder. Crowder, 9.5 receiving yards. And let's do, come on. I mean, Devonta, not that many people will take Devonta.
Yeah, I think you could probably get like $30 on Devonta.
Hey, man, $30, winning ticket, that's a shipper.
You actually lose money, I think, if you put this on Saquon.
Oh, yeah.
You scores. Like, you actually,
definitely.
like, they take money out of your account.
We should use them. I do need to remember to do this. I do need to use my Mahomes free square. Obviously, you can't double up on promos.
Right.
But I do need to use my Mahomes free square. Okay. We cooked. The cooking is complete.
Did, man.
This video automatically is going to redirect to off and on the clock. Nez is going to go eat some soup. I am going to take a short break, and then I'm going to go do ADP chasing in 25 minutes. Then I'm going to go do the Swolecast Membies only. Then I'm going to go do the conference championship preview with Karain and Rotopat. So I hope you guys, if you guys really like to hear me talk about these games, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to do that. Make sure that you're checking out Off and On the Clock. And I hope that you all have a fantastic day. Please, actually, this would really help me out. Head on over to unabated.com. Use promo code Davis if you want to check it out. Check the link in the description for this. Just check it out. You're under no obligation to buy or to use, but I bet if you do a free week trial or if you use it, you'll like it. That is my guess, because I like it a good bit, and that would help me out if you did so. Everyone, have a great weekend. Good luck in all your contests. It's Short King summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated.